everybody. My name is Lindsay from the Craft Studio, and I'm so excited to be crafting with you guys today. We are going to make such a fun and festive holiday craft, and I like this craft because no matter what holiday you celebrate, whether it's Hanukkah or Christmas or Kwanzaa, this is such a fun seasonal thing that everybody can get excited about and enjoy, and it's going to look so yummy. You might even be tempted to try it. Just kidding, it's craft materials, it's not real. We are making an upcycled gingerbread house. Do you guys know what upcycling is? Put your thinking hats on. Upcycling is when you take something that you have used, like a package of something, like I'm gonna use this from my new thermos cup box, and I'm gonna change it and upcycle it and reuse it into a gingerbread house, which is so exciting. Recycling is when you automatically put it in the recycling bin and they process it, but upcycling is when you take it and you make it into something else right away, and that's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be so great. Okay, so you should have a kit from my friends at the Playroom. Shout out to the Playroom friends. And they have given you one of the cartons from the Cool Box water you guys have, or I think maybe a milk carton, in which that's perfect because it even has like a little peak for a roof. But we're gonna show you how, even if you don't have exactly what you think the shape of something is, you can use your imagination to make it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have mine be this shape and this be the roof, even though it doesn't perfectly touch. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this flap off of it. But you guys should be all set with a nice gingerbread house shaped box, your box water. So other materials you're gonna need are some brown pieces of construction paper, or I'm even trying to go with, which Ben suggested this awesome idea of using the water bottle boxes, which is so great, Ben. And he inspired me to use a paper bag instead of brown construction paper. So I'm taking this Walgreens bag since I thought it would be good and fun to show how we can use that even as a part of our craft. You should have a couple markers, my favorite kind of clay, Model Magic white. You should have some glue, scissors, I think I might have said that, and some sequins and gems, and maybe if you have extra material around, you can use it to jazz up your house. Like I'm gonna use these bits of extra tissue paper I have. So let's get crack-a-lackin'. Okay, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cover our house to make it look like a gingerbread house. So you're gonna take your brown piece of paper and you're gonna match it up with an edge like this. And then you're gonna take one of your markers and you're gonna kind of mark the shape you wanna cut out so it will be the right size. And I've just done a few marks. I found one edge that I've marked here with a paper, and then you can kind of follow it down. Here's this corner, and I've also marked over here. So I have a few marks of where I know I need to cut so I have the perfect shape for the side. And then what's cool is once you've measured it once, you could just trace that one cut and for as many sides as you have. Okay, so I'm gonna cut it out. I have a holiday station playing in the background while I'm crafting. If you like to craft while you listen to music, let me hear you. Well, I can't hear you because you guys are just watching a pre-recorded video of me. But if you do like listening to music while you craft, let me see some spirit fingers. Yay! So look, I just cut out my first panel, and it's a little bit bigger than the box, which is totally okay. And you can see the marker on it, which is okay because we'll glue the backside. And even if you did see the marker on it, it makes for more character, right? So now I'm gonna take this piece and I'm gonna line it up with my paper. And I'm gonna probably need to cut some more brown, but let's see. So I'm gonna need 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Okay, so I'm gonna cut my 4. And again, I'm probably gonna need to cut some more from my big piece of bag. Awesome. And yours is shaped a little differently than mine, I would imagine. So don't forget that trick. Just measure it, hold it up, and mark where you're going to want to cut it with your marker. Once you do one, though, remember, you can kind of just play around with it and stack them and cut. So see, I already have one, and I'm going to lay it on top of the other piece and just cut it, because I've already measured, so I don't need to do the measuring again since all 4 of these sides are all the same size. 1, 2, this one I think has the handle on it, which I'll just trim off. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3. I need one more that's this size. And then I have those top folds, which you guys, I think your peaks will look a little bit different than mine, but we'll do the same technique. Okay, so I have my 4 sides. And then I have these short little pieces, but I'm gonna cut my paper so it's a little bit longer so that I can glue the top together. So even though the cardboard doesn't go all the way to make the peak of a roof, my brown paper will. So I'm gonna cut, like actually this is perfect, what's right here. So I'm gonna do one this size, and then right below it, I'll cut another the same size. Awesome. And remember, if you can see some of your box, that's okay. If your pieces are too big or too small, don't worry. There are no mistakes in art. You got it. And perfect is boring. You got it. Okay, so I have my glue stick ready. Maybe you have some tack glue, maybe you have some school glue, and a stick, or maybe you have a squirt. Whatever you have is great. So I'm gonna start putting glue on the back of my panels to stick on. And you might want to just give it a little extra stick, do some glue on the actual box too. All right, I'm going to stick this on. And remember, if it's not perfectly the same size, you can trim it, you can overlap it, or you can leave it the way it is and have it be kind of cool, like have the sides all different sizes. My box just broke a little, forgive me. There we go, we're rebuilding our box. There we go. False alarm. Crisis averted. Okay, so keep going. Go ahead and put glue on your brown paper. And a little extra glue on the box. Depending on what kind of glue you have. Glue sticks, I think it's good to double up and do both the box and the side panel. If you have like school glue, it's extra gloopy and wet, you might not need to do both. Right, I'm on my 3rd, and there might be, if you're upcycling your brown like me, or maybe you have brown construction paper, if there's words on it, or you can see your markers, you can always do it on the other side. Flip over the paper so you don't see your marker, but again, it kind of gives it character if you can see those lines. Okay, so I'm going to see where I'm at, and if I want to do any trimming. Starting to look more like a gingerbread. Oh, I need some more glue, huh? This one bent a little funny. And maybe to have it stay even more, if you have extra, you could try overlapping it, like folding it over the edge like I'm doing it. Play around with it. Again, it all depends on what kind of glue you have. Like I need more now because I just folded the edge and realigned it, and the glue stick glue is not as gloopy as like an Elmer's glue stick. Okay, and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go and kind of overlap it at every corner. I'm gonna make sure there's enough glue underneath the edges. Now you're just kind of cutting any extra, measuring it. There we go. Folding it over. I'm gonna rotate it. Does anybody like baking gingerbread? I just made this past weekend some gingerbread. It's a hard cookie, I think, to make. It really is. Because it's hard to tell when it's done, I think. Because when you're making it, it's brown dough. So you have to make sure you don't burn it, right? Okay, go ahead and keep going. Mine looks like this. And now I'm gonna do the sides. I'm gonna glue these 2 pieces. Now that I've gone around and kind of reinforced it and glued the ends, it might help to kind of give it a good hold where the glue dries. Okay, and now I'm gonna do my roof pieces, which yours look a little different because yours go all the way up, your milk carton. Mine only go halfway. So I've made my brown paper a little bit longer so the peaks of it touch the top. Okay, here's one. Here comes the other. Okay. All right, now I'm trying to decide, and this is cool. You guys are gonna discover with me what I'm gonna do with this. This will make it look just like a milk carton like yours, but do I wanna fold it down a little, put glue? I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little bit of glue so they just touch shut, so it looks like a milk jug with this kind of cool triangle window, huh? Or breezeway, or like sun, not roof because it's not on the roof, sunshade sign. Okay, so mine's open like this. I'm liking it, and you're gonna see how we're gonna kind of add to it. If you want to get creative and add more paper, I kind of like that mine is open like this. I'm gonna set this aside. If you wanna do more with gluing with a paper, go to town, cover it however you like. Now I'm gonna grab my Model Magic. And you guys should have gotten 2 different markers. And that is to color your Model Magic into 2 different colors. So I've already separated mine. And I love coloring Model Magic with markers. I'm gonna take this blue marker and I'm gonna draw some lines. Just like that. And then I'm gonna twist it with my hands and it's gonna become this cool light blue. The more color you add, the darker it gets. If you want it to be swirly, like candy swirls, you can do that too. This is gonna become our icing of our house. So feel free to do as much or as little as you want. And if you really wanna do something fun too, you can mix your 2 colors if they're 2 colors that mix well together. Like red and blue are both primary colors, and when they're mixed, they make purple. But I'm gonna do 2 separate because I kind of want 2 different colors of icing to work with. So I'm moving on to my red, coloring this. Okay. And I'm mixing it. And it looks kind of like pink, but I'm gonna add a little bit more. So it's a little bit more vibrant. And maybe you wanna just do 1 color, or maybe you wanna separate your clay into 3 so you have white, 2. However you wanna go about it, it's your project. Get creative and have fun. Okay, cool. Now, I'm gonna take my clay and I'm gonna separate it into smaller sections, each color. I'm gonna roll it into a ball, and I like to sing the song. It goes, rollin', rollin', rollin' our clay. And by the time I'm done with that, I often have a ball. That was really hard to sing that song because Michael Bublé is rocking out the holiday music behind me. So I'm gonna give myself a little prop on the shoulder for keeping the tune while Christmas music is blaring. Okay, now we're gonna take our ball and we're gonna roll it. And I like to go swish, swish, swish and do a long snake. And this is what is gonna become the icing swirls. And this is where you can bring your house back into the picture and you can get creative. How do you wanna do your icing? Do you want it to be dripping down on the roof? Do you want it to create a certain shape, like by connecting the 2 ends into a heart? Play around and experiment. Maybe you want it to follow the border like that. So once you decide kind of what you want to do with your icing, you can take your glue, and before you stick it on, my Model Magic, my blue is actually very sticky, this one that I'm working with, but I still want to add a little bit of glue because the air dries and I want it to have that extra support. So I'm going to go around and just add a little bit of the glue. And then you can go to town, guys, on that icing. Do as much or as little as you want. I like the idea of kind of making it droopy. I know I just did a pretty straight edge right there, but it'd be fun to make it like loose and gloopy a little in some areas. What I'm gonna do is when it's ready, I'm gonna just do a line of glue with my glue stick. So it's a little stickier. I'm not gonna dry this part on as straight. I'm gonna make it a little gloopier over here. so it looks like gloopy icing. I love it. Maybe I'll bring this one down a little because the other one. And that's a cool thing about it is the clay's not dry yet, so you can really kind of play with it until it dries. Okay, and keep going to town with it. I'm gonna do a line right across the roof. It should be really fun. Maybe you want to do with your icing. Okay, that's perfect length. I'm going to add glue. Maybe you want to make your initials out of Model Magic. Maybe you want to do your favorite shapes, like we were talking about the heart. Okay, put some on the roof now. I think I'm going to do a big L for Lindsay on one side. I think on the front, I'm gonna make an icing door. Experiment with it. Well, maybe you could make a swirl, like a lollipop icing swirl. It's starting to really take shape with the icing, right? Doesn't the Model Magic look just like icing? And I like it being uneven and hand rolled like that because it makes it look like real food, real gingerbread house. I'm gonna do a heart above the door. I always say when I do a snake to make a heart, I have the ends kiss and dive down. Is that funny? I'm gonna add a little bit of glue to the back of it. I'm gonna stick that on here. It's looking good. And then I'm gonna add some of my red. This looks good enough to eat. When I was a kid, here's a little fun fact. I did not love gingerbread. Now I love it so much. My daughters love it. But I think a lot of kids, it takes some time for them to kind of grow into it. Not my daughters. I, for one, though, I needed to grow into it as an adult. It wasn't my favorite as a kid. But now I love it. I can't get enough of it. There isn't really a lot of sweets I don't like. I also really love cutout cookies. And when I was little, I only wanted like chocolate chip cookies because I thought cutouts were missing chocolate. But now cutouts are like my favorite. Okay. And what's so fun is you have 4 sides to do this with. I know I'm just doing this one side because I'm showing you guys. But look how cool it takes shape. Maybe I'll add a little doorknob to my door. And then you guys should have all these sequins and gems that you can make look like candy, which is so fun. It's kind of funny to do a gingerbread house like this because I feel like it's a little bit sturdier. Who has, when they make a gingerbread house, gets nervous, a real one, because it collapses? I think it's part of it, and it's like a fun game or a challenge to see if you can make it not fall. Okay. I'm gonna bring my door down a little bit so it looks more like a door instead of a mad face. No, it still looks like a mad face a little. Is that better? No, look at this end. I know, we'll make it look happier with candy. I'm watching it in the camera, you guys, to see how it's looking instead of looking right at it because I want to show you. Okay, so keep going with your icing until you're done and happy with it. Do all the sides. And then you can go to town and start gluing on some accessories, the gems and the sequins, which make it look like candy. And again, you might need to give it a little press if you're using a glue stick, gloopy glue like tacky glue. That works great if you just stick it on. I'm gonna stick something up here. Or school glue, depending on what glue you use. You need little or less. Little or more, sorry. I'm so excited about this, I'm not even making sense, you guys. But go ahead and keep going. And also, like I said, if you have other materials around that might be left over from a different project or a different activity, you can incorporate that. Like I have these tissue paper squares that, how fun, crunched up, look just like little crinkly candies, right? I'm gonna glue one right here to this corner roof piece. Look at it, cool, huh? So add all the sparkles, all the gems, and you have one beautiful upcycled gingerbread house. So much fun. And I always ask this every week. And one of these weeks I can't wait to really see. I would love if you take a picture of it, send it to Ben at the playroom, and he'll send a picture to me. So I hope you guys love your gingerbread houses. I think this is such a fun craft idea. Maybe this is one you could do every holiday season, and you can add to it and add to your collection, and you'll have a gingerbread village. That could be one of your new family traditions every year. I love it. Yay! Happy crafting, everyone. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Bye!